Hi, everyone, and warmly welcome to our podcast, An Inclusive Labor Market. With us at Mitt and our super special guests that will join us for talks about D&I. And the purpose of this interview series is to get behind the scenes and learn more about D&I from a CEO perspective. And you will have the chance to meet some amazing CEOs in some of the largest companies and get their view on D&I and not only talk, but also how to walk. But for you who doesn't know much about Mitt or nothing at all, our vision is to work for an inclusive society and a labor market that values diversity. And we've been around since we were founded 2008. And if you want to learn more about, you can visit our homepage, bitly.com. But today we have the big honor to have a true role model joining us for this conversation. And someone who knows a lot about great leadership as CEO for Deloitte Sweden. Warmly welcome, Jan.
Thank you, Sophia. It's great to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So how are you today and what feeling did you wake up with this morning, Jan?
Oh, I woke up with a wonderful feeling. I was looking forward to this interview and having this discussion with you.
Yeah.
So, only good feelings.
That's good to hear. But is there any room ever for you as a CEO to actually have a bad day? Or do you always have to rewire your brain to make sure you spread good feelings at work?
I think I probably have a positive nature. So, but obviously there are tough days in my work too. But most days are great days, and it's always fun when you work with great people. Then you always solve problems, you find solutions, and that's always inspiring.
That's good to hear. But I'm not going to do the introduction for you. We would like to join you on your life journey. Actually, if you would like to share some of the biggest milestones that has taken you to your role as CEO for Deloitte.
Yeah, I think sort of certain things that have been important to me in life. That was when I grew up. I spent a lot of time on the soccer field, and this sort of team sports and soccer, handball, and things like that. That has definitely shaped me. I love doing things together. I love sort of trying to achieve things together with others. So that has been an important part of sort of what has shaped me, I would say. Then another important sort of milestone, that was probably when I got the chance to work in the US. I was on a secondment in the US for a year. I worked in California. I had one engagement on Hawaii. That was wonderful. But actually sort of working in California was an interesting experience. It was both this sort of getting to reflect on that things doesn't need to be exactly as they are in Sweden. And it works very well in other ways too. But also when I worked in California in Silicon Valley, you know, there were people from all over the world coming there. And we were collaborating. It didn't really matter if you didn't speak English that well. I mean, as long as you had competence in a certain areas and could contribute with things. So that I think that opened my mind of how fun it is to work with people from many different countries, and sort of the different perspective you get from doing that is really valuable. So that shaped me a lot. And then what more? And then obviously I had a great journey here at Deloitte, working with many fantastic people, and both here at Deloitte and at our clients. So I think a mix of all of that has shaped me and taken me to where I am today.
For how long have you been at Deloitte?
You know, I joined, well, Deloitte is in Sweden, we merged with some firm, but I have more or less been with the same firm since I graduated. So it's a long time, and I've been the CEO for 15 years. So I have been here for a long time, no doubt about it.
But you seem to do a great work. But do you think the role of the company has changed during those 15 years? Do you see other aspects that has become more important?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it has changed a lot, and in many different dimensions. And I think sort of one of the inspiring things, but also the challenging things in having roles like this is that you need to be in sync with time. You need to sort of be very listen to what is coming next, and always sort of develop the company, and not sort of stay in any status quo. You need to be sort of on a journey, both individually and as a company. And you know, it's a big difference compared to when I joined. This is I would say a very male dominated culture, and it was it was primarily, we had only male partners at that time. We are a partnership, so we're owned by the partners, but there were only male partners. And now it's a big shift where we have 33% of our partners are female partners, which has been very important for us in order to be a successful company. But there are a lot of things that are changing all the time, and not least also talking about technology, just having meetings
like this.
like this is something that we are learning. And
but has it been important for you to connect your personal values with the company's values along this journey?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when I have introduction presentations to our new employees, I always say that sort of the values that we stand for as a company is very well aligned with my own personal values. And if that would not have been the case, I would not have been here today. So that has been really important for me. And
what is your most important value then?
I think honesty is very important. Respect for others is very important. I think maybe, and sort of also a kind of fairness, that you should treat people in a fair way, and that you should give sort of everyone the same opportunities. That's very important for me.
Yeah. And I mean, you have at Deloitte, you have this super big vision about changing something for the better. Could you tell us some about that vision?
Yes, so we have a purpose in our organization, that is that we should make an impact that matters for our client, our people, and for society. And I think that's it's a great purpose. And on the sort of society part, we engage in many different things, and we have one program that is called World Class, where we're actually trying to make life better for 100 million people, and many things is related to helping people get a good education, helping people having a career that they want. So and we do different things. I mean, what we do in India, for example, is very different from what we do in the UK and what we do here, because living conditions is so different in different countries. But as you know, in Sweden, as part of that World Class program, we have focus on helping immigrants coming or joining the Swedish job market, and being integrated and get a good work here. That has been important for us.
And that's, I mean, we all have those big visions, want to change the world, but in the end, it comes down to our own behaviors and what we do in our everyday life. And for us at Mitt, you're a true role model, because you took the chance to take on a mentorship in our mentorship program, It Leaves Chance. So that maybe showed you a gap between this big vision and to really hands-on do something for an individual. So what has been your experience becoming a mentor and along this journey?
Yeah, you know, when we, to just be honest, I mean, when we joined Mitt program and decided to become mentors. It was sort of part of our world-class program, and we saw sort of integration as one of the biggest challenges in the Swedish society. So we wanted to do something there, and then I didn't sort of have really huge expectations when I decided to be a mentor. It was more that I think we should all sort of help out and try to do that. But it was really a learning experience for me. I had great mentees that I worked with, but I think I really saw how difficult it is for people coming from other countries. They have good education, they have great experience, and they are really nice people, but they don't even get an interview in Sweden. And it was actually a shock for me. So it has definitely changed my view of understanding how difficult it is to come to Sweden. And some of the people that I have been mentor for, they, as I said, they are well educated, they have good experience, but they still don't really get a chance. And I can just imagine how difficult it must be for the people who don't have a good education and don't have the experience to actually get a good job in Sweden. So that has been an eye-opener for me.
And how, in your role, how has that changed your mindset and maybe also how to work on this for Deloitte Sweden? Has it changed anything in the organization and how you do things?
This has been an interesting learning for me, and it has definitely changed how we view diversity and inclusion in our company. And we have been very focused on the gender diversity in our company, and we have done, I think we have had a great journey there, no doubt about. We have more to do, but we have made some quite important improvements in that area. But we have not been that very focused on people coming from other cultures or other countries. And we have a lot of people in our organization that is coming from other. I mean, I think we probably have 30 nationalities in the Stockholm office, but we haven't really sort of deeply considered how well do they actually feel included in our organization. So that is something that we have put much higher on the agenda and is much more aware of. We are now training people on this, and we are trying to sort of understand how do we make sure that the people coming from other countries really feel included working at Deloitte. So that has been one important part. But then also, I have realized that, I thought that our recruiting processes, they were probably unbiased and we were sort of giving everyone a fair chance, etc. But sort of the experience I got being a mentor was that, that's probably not the case. How good are we really at this? So we have put a focus on that, and we are running a special projects to really assess our recruitment processes to see, are we really giving people the right opportunity, and are we good at actually being able to recruit the most relevant, the best people for the different roles.
That's super interesting. And we were talking the other day when we met a group of CEOs about that culture is not only your responsibility. Culture happens on all levels, and maybe most on the middle level. So how do you make sure to support your leaders with the right behaviors so they can act inclusive? And also when you do your succession planning, how do you make sure that you actually have a good mix, not only at top management level, but at all levels?
Yeah, so I think first, it has been very important for us to not say that diversity inclusion is an HR project. It's I have been very clear in our organization that is my responsibility. I am responsible for diversity and inclusion as CEO in our organization, and I think that has been important to set the tone. Yeah. And then, you know, to be honest, we are on a journey. We are relatively early on that journey, so we haven't sort of figured out everything how we're going to do it. But a couple of things. I mean, we are now running diversity and inclusion trainings for we had that a couple of weeks ago for our executive team, which is sort of the leadership team in Sweden. We are running that kind of training for people at different levels in our organization. We have said that all partners, we have 100 partners in Sweden, should go through diversity and inclusion training. And then also I encourage all our leaders to be mentors, because I think being a mentor is something that learns you and open up. I mean, you can sort of read theory about this, but when you meet people that are actually in a situation and you see how difficult it be, I think you learn a lot from that. So we want, I hope that all our partners, I mean, a lot of our partners, even if they are really, really busy, they are mentors, they have been mentors. Our most senior partners, they have been mentors or are mentors. So, and we really want to continue, to promote that.
And you love to measure things. So we always get the questions from companies and organizations that is there really a correlation between profitability and the best performing teams and gender equality, for example? Do you have any proof of that at Deloitte?
Yeah, you know, I actually, you know, we have about 15 different reporting entities within the Swedish organization. And when I became the CEO, I sort of learned how to assess the different parts of our business. And after some years, I think I developed quite a good approach for doing that. And it became very clear to me that where we had a good diversity, gender diversity in the leadership teams, the teams or the departments performed better in every dimension. The clients were happier, the people or our employees were happier, and we were more profitable. And that is something that I see very clearly. I cannot measure exactly how many percentage it is, but it's a clear trend. So we are really focused on sort of measuring for each reporting entity the gender diversity mix now, in order to try to fix it for all the different parts where we don't have a good balance. We have that now in most of our reporting entities, but not in everyone. So that is something that we measure. And then we want to measure. We had a lot of discussion how we should measure diversity and how we should measure inclusion. I think we concluded to measure diversity is quite difficult. It's easy to sort of measure gender diversity. That's not controversial, but when you want to measure other things, it becomes much more difficult, I would say. So we haven't really figured out that. So we said, okay, let's start to measure inclusion first. So in our employee surveys, we included a number of questions related to inclusion. And we actually got the result of that last week, and we came out really, really high. But it was actually the areas where we come out higher, so all the questions in the survey. So that was very good. But still, I'm not quite sure that I'm fully sort of satisfied with that, because I think when it comes to inclusion, it's good if the main part of the people in the department feel included. But I really want that everyone, every single one, should feel included. And we haven't really figured out how we should measure that yet. So it's we have more to do here. But we are, as I said, we are on a journey, and we're trying to learn how to do this in a better way.
And I guess it's or I know it's one of the most discussed topics, how to measure D&I and specifically diversity, since it also looks so different in different countries with legislation and what we actually are able to do by the law and not, and our different view on what diversity actually means. So we need to continue those discussions to make sure that we take on this in the right way out from so many different aspects. But what would you say more differs Sweden when it comes to D&I? Do you think we have come more far than other countries, or how does it look at Deloitte at other markets?
I think actually if I would look at the US, they are much further ahead and have done much more. They have been aware of this topic for a longer time. They are more sophisticated in their thinking than what we are in Sweden, I would say. So I think actually in Sweden we are quite immature, and we have a lot to do. I think actually we think of ourselves as we are more sort of sophisticated and open-minded than what we actually are.
Yeah. Is there anything specific they do that you think we should be inspired by here?
Well, I think in the US they have at least tried to measure and also be sort of more aware of that there are different minority groups that they are more difficult for them to get into universities or into the workforce, etc. And they are aware of that, and they are trying to support that more than what we do. I think they have also a lot of challenge. This is not easy. But I think they are more aware of it and have sort of tried to develop approaches to support minorities in a better way than what we have done.
And I'm also curious, Jan, about, I mean, when I started Mitt 15 years ago now, the D&I was an integration overall was like a small CSR, maybe CSR topic in some few companies. Until now, we work with, I mean, investors and boards and management groups. It's a whole other perspective on this, and more of a business strategy and an idea about that if we not do this and are into this together, we're out in the long run. So what is your view on this perspective, and where do you think we need to be 10 years ahead?
Yeah, I sort of have some kind of basic view that if I look at us as a company, that we should mirror the society at big. So I would say that if you have, in Sweden, we have approximately 20% of the population is from other countries. I would say that, well, that's probably how we should look too. At our leadership, board, and as a company into it. That's sort of my little basic thinking when it comes to this. And I think if you, because also we always need to mirror our clients, because if we don't mirror our clients, then we will not be sort of aligned with how the client is thinking. But I think if you would take a look, for example, in the financial sector, it's not a mirror of society at big.
No.
So I think that's a shift that needs to take place. And I think sort of the program that you're running at Mitt and the CEO work that we are doing together, etc., I think that will help. It's not easy, but it will sort of, and it will not be a quick fix.
No.
But I think it's very important to be very clear on what direction we need to move and try to sort of get as many as possible to support that movement.
And as you mentioned, we started a program that we call CEOs for D&I. We have done pretty much during this period together. And one of the purpose with this program is to through our own companies, inspire more to do more. And it's a group of 8 CEOs yearly. And you were part of the first group.
Yes.
That will always be super special. But I'm curious about what actually triggered you to join this program, and what is the number one thing you would pass on to other CEOs to get going with their D&I work?
Yeah, I think, I mean, we have this action program from that first group. And I think for me, there were a few takeaways from this. And one is probably that this isn't that easy. So that's one thing. The second thing is that if you really want to do something, you need to have the CEO be the sponsor for this and take responsibility. If you don't do that in a company, I don't think you need to care that much about it. You need to say, this is important for us as a company. And then I think the third thing is that start taking the steps. I think that the actions that we have outlined in this program, that will not solve everything, but it's a start, and everyone can actually do it. And by doing it, we will learn a lot how we should take the next step. And I think sort of don't make it too complicated, but start with these small steps. And that's, if you have started the journey, then we will learn and be able to progress it even further. So that would be my sort of takeaway, what I've learned, and also my recommendations to other CEOs.
That's perfect, Jan. Thank you so much. And for everyone who listens, Jan and our other CEOs will present their actions and the result of the actions at our yearly symposium, the 23rd of March, 2023. And we will send it directly from the Volvo Hall in Gothenburg, and you will see the invitation in the link. Yeah, Jan, thank you so much. And it's really an honor to have you on board in the program, CEOs for D&I, but also to listen to all your interesting and important perspective. And let's keep up the fire.
Thank you so very much, Sylvia. It was great to discuss these topics with you. And I think the work that you and Mitt are doing is just fantastic. It's very important for us as companies, very important for our society. And it's always fun to interact with you, because I say each time I've interacted, I always learn something new that I can use. So thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.